AITA for not being mad at my mom for blowing up my cheating dad's wedding to his mistress? I've got a situation here that feels like it's straight out of a movie, and I genuinely need to know if I'm in the wrong. To get the full picture, we have to go back about 2 years. Life was, well, normal, I guess. I'm 16 now, so I was 14 then. I have a younger brother who's 14 now, and a sister who's 13. We were a typical family, or so I thought. That all came crashing down the night my parents' marriage officially died. We'd been at a relative's house, and for some reason, we got dropped off home a little earlier than planned. The second we got out of the car, we could hear it. Yelling. Not just regular arguing, but that deep, gut-wrenching kind of yelling that makes the air feel heavy. We hesitated at the front door, and through the wood, we heard our mom's voice, cracked with pain, say the word that would change everything. Cheated. The moment we walked in, the yelling stopped. It was replaced by this thick, awful silence. A few days later, my dad sat the three of us down for one of those serious talks. He told us he was leaving, that he was dating someone else, and, for the grand finale, that this other woman was pregnant. I remember just staring at him, my mind trying to piece it all together. I asked him flat out, "Did you cheat on Mom?" He gave us this pathetic, dismissive line about it being complicated and nothing for us to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Right. Our entire world was imploding. But hey, don't you kids worry your little heads about it. From that day on, things with our dad were strained. To put it mildly, we didn't like him very much for what he did, and we definitely didn't like his new wife. And here's the kicker, the part that adds a whole extra layer of disgusting to this story. She wasn't a stranger. She was one of my mom's friends from work. A woman who smiled at my mom in the office, who probably asked about her weekend, all while sleeping with her husband behind her back. My mom was, and still is, absolutely destroyed by that level of betrayal. And just to round out her character, she also cheated on her own daughter's father. He left them both because of it. And no, before you ask, my dad isn't her daughter's biological father. They're different races, so there's no confusion there. He just stepped right into another broken family that he helped break. Fast forward to this past June. The wedding day. My dad and his former mistress were making it official, and my siblings and I were forced to be there. We argued. We pleaded. We said we didn't want to go, but we were told we had to support our father. Support him marrying the woman who blew up our family? It felt sick. I remember standing there in a suit that was too tight, watching him at the altar, this big, fake smile plastered on his face. It was awkward. It was painful. We were just props in his new, happy life. The ceremony was almost over. The officiant was saying something about love and forever. And then, a voice cut through the air from the back of the venue. Don't you dare say it. Every single head whipped around. And there, standing in the aisle, was my mom. She wasn't screaming, not yet. Her voice was low and shaking with a rage that felt electric. She started walking forward, slowly, deliberately. "You are a liar and a cheater," she said, pointing right at my dad. His face went from white to red in a split second. Then she turned to his bride. "And you pathetic excuse for a woman. You pretended to be my friend. You ate at my table. And you were sleeping with my husband." The guests were frozen. You could hear people gasping. My dad's new wife looked like she wanted the ground to swallow her whole. Her 7-year-old daughter was right there in the front row and started to cry. My mom wasn't done. She looked at the three of us, her eyes full of pain. "And you make them watch this? You force my children to come here and celebrate the destruction of their family? You are both sick." That's when it happened. Without even thinking, without a word to each other, my brother, my sister, and I all stood up and walked straight over to our mom. We just stood with her, a silent, united front. Seeing that seemed to break my dad. He started hissing at his best man to get her out of here, threatening to call the police. My mom just looked at him, then at us, and let herself be escorted out. But the damage was done. The bomb had gone off. The reception was a nightmare. The music was playing, but no one was celebrating. It felt more like a funeral. My dad, seething, pulled the three of us aside. "Why did you go to her?" he demanded, his voice low and furious. We just stared at him. "Because she's our mom," we all said, almost in unison. "She was wrong. She had no right to ruin this day," he snapped. My little sister, who is usually the quietest of us, looked him dead in the eye and said, "I don't care. You deserved it." I have never been prouder of her in my entire life. Then, his new wife came over, dabbing her eyes. She looked at us with so much venom. "My daughter didn't deserve to be caught up in your mother's temper tantrum," she spat. I just shrugged. I mean, what was I supposed to say? My internal monologue was screaming. And we didn't deserve to have our family detonated by the two of you. But here we are. Her daughter was collateral damage in a war my dad and she had started. It sucked for her, it really did, but it wasn't our fault, and it sure as hell wasn't my mom's. That was the last straw for them. The new stepmom looked at us and said, "Just leave. Get out." So I pulled out my phone, called my mom, and she came and picked us up. We haven't been back to my dad's house much since. In the weeks that followed, my dad tried every tactic in the book. He'd text us, trying to explain how unhinged and inappropriate our mother's behavior was. He wanted us to be mad at her. He wanted us on his side. But none of us cared. Our perspective was basically, "Sucks to be you, but we told you we didn't want to be there anyway." This led to a big phone call where he went into serious dad mode. You can't excuse people doing bad things and ruining things for others, he lectured. She never should have let you kids see that. The hypocrisy was so thick I could barely breathe. I finally snapped. And you never should have cheated on mom and made us experience that, but you did, I said, my voice cold. You never should have made a baby with someone else while you were still married to her, but you did that, too. Silence. He was so angry he was sputtering. He tried to punish me, ground me, but then he backpedaled, saying he didn't want me in his house anyway if I was going to wish away my new half-sibling. It's been about 10 weeks now. He still texts sometimes, and every single time, he expects us to have magically changed our minds. His new favorite line is, "You should be mad at both of us, not just me." He's trying to make what she did, a one-time public outburst fueled by years of pain and betrayal, equal to what he did, a calculated, long-term affair that ended our family. So, AITA for not being mad at my mom, for siding with her, and for basically feeling like my dad got exactly what was coming to him. Update. A couple of weeks after my original post, things took another turn. My dad must have realized that his anger and his lectures weren't working, so he decided to switch tactics. He sent a massive group text to me, my brother, and my sister. It started with what I guess was his attempt at an apology. Something like, "I am truly sorry for how everything went down at the wedding and my part in it." It was vague, but for a second, I thought, okay, maybe this is a start. I was wrong. The text immediately pivoted into a full-blown guilt trip. He told us that his wife had given birth to our half-sister and sent a picture. He wrote, "Your new sister is here, and she is innocent in all of this. I want you all to be a part of her life. A big part. Don't let your mother's anger and bitterness poison this for you and for her." He then went on to offer to buy us all new PS5s and whatever games we wanted if we would just come over for one weekend to meet the baby and start fresh. It was so transparent. A non-apology followed by a guilt trip and a bribe. My siblings and I just looked at each other, and for the first time in a while, we kind of laughed. It was just so pathetic. My sister, the hero of this story once again, took my phone and typed back a simple reply for all of us. "No thanks. We're happy for you, but we're good over here." He tried to reply, but we didn't see what he said. We blocked his number. All of us. We decided we're done with the drama. We're done being his pawns. We'll decide if or when we want to see him or meet our half-sister, but it'll be on our terms, not because he bribed or guilt-tripped us into it. For the first time in 2 years, it feels like we finally have some peace. And it feels really, really good.